The United States President Donald Trump has made good on his promise to impose heavy tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. But what he probably did not expect was how quick and hard China was going to respond.
China released its slew of countermeasures, pretty extensive this time round compared to the previous round in February. They're targeting up to 15% tariffs on a list of U.S. goods.
Right now, the United States is feeling the heat in this escalating trade war. China has just cut off key U.S. exports, and a global boycott of American goods is gaining momentum, leaving the U.S. more isolated than ever. But here's the twist. You won't believe the unexpected consequences already unfolding. In this video, we'll break down exactly what's happening, why China is gaining the upper hand, and what this means for the global economy. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe for daily updates on global economics. The trade tensions sparked by President Trump's tariffs have reshaped global economic alliances, positioning China as a potential major beneficiary. These tariffs, aimed at reducing the U.S. trade deficit, have inadvertently opened doors for China to strengthen its economic ties with neighboring countries, notably Mexico and Canada. As U.S. companies grapple with increased import costs, China's vast manufacturing capabilities and competitive pricing become increasingly attractive to North American markets. This shift not only alters traditional trade patterns, but also underscores China's growing influence in the global economy. China's manufacturing sector has long been recognized for producing affordable goods, but recent advancements have significantly improved the quality of these products. A prime example is the electric vehicle industry, where Chinese manufacturers have made remarkable strides. Companies like BYD and Xiaomi have introduced models that rival established brands in both performance and affordability. For instance, BYD's Seagull, priced at approximately $11,000, offers a range of up to 251 miles, making it an enticing option for budget-conscious consumers. In comparison, Tesla's Model 3, known for its innovation and performance, starts at around $35,800 in China. This substantial price difference highlights the competitive edge Chinese EV manufacturers have achieved, potentially swaying consumers in markets like Canada and Mexico to consider these cost-effective alternatives. China's competitive pricing extends far beyond the EV market, making it a vital trade partner for nations seeking alternatives to costly U.S. imports. As Mexico and Canada look to reduce economic reliance on the U.S., China's high-quality, affordable products provide a compelling solution, strengthening these countries' bargaining power in global trade. Tesla, once a dominant force in EVs, is now struggling to keep pace. In February 2025, sales of its China-made vehicles plunged 49%, the lowest since August 2022. Meanwhile, BYD surged 90%, fueled by its ultra-affordable EVs priced under $10,000. With cutting-edge technology and aggressive pricing, Chinese manufacturers are undercutting Western competitors, especially in price-sensitive markets. China's rapid tech innovation further strengthens its lead. BYD's partnership with DJI has introduced a car-mounted drone system, allowing drivers to capture panoramic videos. Priced at 16,000 yuan or $2,200, this feature appeals to tech-savvy consumers and sets new industry standards. Western automakers now face mounting pressure to innovate or risk obsolescence. The broader implications of these developments are profound. As China solidifies its role as a key supplier of both affordable and high-quality products, countries like Mexico and Canada may increasingly turn to Chinese partnerships to circumvent the economic fallout from U.S. tariffs. The broader impact is reshaping global trade. As U.S. tariffs drive Mexico and Canada toward China, this shift weakens Western dominance and diversifies supply chains. While consumers benefit from more affordable options, established brands must rethink pricing and innovation to stay competitive. Ultimately, the trade war may accelerate China's economic rise, forcing a realignment of global markets. The question now is whether the U.S. can counter this shift, or if China has already secured the upper hand. In 2025, China escalated its trade retaliation against the United States by suspending soybean import licenses of 3 U.S. firms and halting U.S. log imports. This move follows new U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods. China also imposed tariffs on $21 billion worth of U.S. agricultural and food products, including soybeans, wheat, meat, and cotton. The firms affected are CHS Inc., Louis Dreyfus Company Grains Merchandising LLC, and EGT. China cited the detection of contaminants in U.S. soybeans and logs as the reason for the suspensions. But we know this is just an excuse to cut off U.S. supply chains. In response to escalating trade tensions and external pressures, China has intensified its efforts to achieve self-sufficiency across various sectors. During the National People's Congress, Premier Li Qiang emphasized the importance of technological innovation, particularly in artificial intelligence, robotics, and biotechnology, as central to China's economic strategy. The government has set an economic growth target of around 5% and increased military spending by 7.2%, reflecting a commitment to bolster domestic capabilities. China's push for self-reliance is also evident in its agricultural sector. The government has launched a comprehensive plan aiming to enhance food security by 2028, focusing on advancements in biotechnology and artificial intelligence to improve crop yields and farming efficiency. This initiative underscores China's determination to reduce dependence on foreign agricultural imports and ensure sustainable food production for its population. This shows that Trump is only helping China advance faster and be more self-sufficient. In the end, China is coming out stronger and richer amidst the trade war with the U.S. We are witnessing a dramatic shift on the global economic stage as a result of President Donald Trump's harsh global economics policies. President Trump announced a series of tariffs aimed at the United States' major trading partners. This move targeted Canada, Mexico, and China, with the United States imposing a 25% tariff on goods from Canada and Mexico and a 10% tariff on products imported from China. The administration defended these tariffs as a necessary measure to protect American industries and reduce long-standing trade deficits. By implementing these duties, the policy not only challenged the existing balance of trade, but also set the stage for a cascade of retaliatory measures from the affected nations. In a recent congressional address, President Trump insisted that these harsh economic policies were going to pay off. But he is not stopping there. Trump just announced that more tariffs are coming up in April.
April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in, and whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them.
The technical design behind the tariffs involved detailed economic models intended to shift market dynamics in favor of domestic production, while compelling international partners to reconsider their own trade practices. The immediate global reaction was swift and intense. Financial markets around the world trembled as indices like the S&P 500, which had enjoyed a period of post-election gains, suddenly began to decline. Economists warned that the imposed tariffs could lead to a slowdown in economic growth and trigger rising consumer prices as the cost of imported goods increased. Disruptions in international supply chains added further complexity to the situation, leaving businesses scrambling to adjust their operations in an unpredictable environment. Investors and policymakers alike were forced to confront the possibility that this policy shift might signal the beginning of a more profound and prolonged economic disruption. Could these early tremors be the first signs of a complete transformation in the global economic order? As the repercussions of the tariffs spread, the nations on the receiving end did not remain idle. Canada, Mexico, and China quickly mobilized their own economic responses, implementing counter-tariffs and imposing trade restrictions designed to mitigate the impact on their industries. These measures were carefully calculated, as officials in each country analyzed trade data and economic models to determine the best course of action. The retaliatory steps taken were both strategic and symbolic, aimed at restoring balance while challenging the unilateral nature of the U.S. policy. For industries dependent on international trade, the unfolding scenario was a stark reminder of how interdependent global markets had become. The swift and precise counteractions revealed the intricate web of relationships that underpinned modern commerce, where each policy decision had far-reaching consequences. In the midst of these diplomatic and economic maneuvers, the global trade community found itself faced with tough decisions. Companies across multiple sectors were forced to reassess their supply chains, sometimes resorting to rapid reconfigurations of production routes and sourcing strategies to avoid the increased costs associated with tariffs. Manufacturers and exporters, who had long relied on predictable trade patterns, now faced a future filled with uncertainty and risk. Economic simulations and predictive models were put to the test as experts tried to foresee the effects of these new trade barriers on both emerging and established markets. In retrospect, the events of early 2025 did more than ignite a trade war. They marked a turning point in the way nations approached economic security and international commerce. Will this turbulence pave the way for innovative trade partnerships that redefine global economics? Or is it merely the prelude to an era of escalating economic rivalry? Well, for now, what we know is that it has caused a boycott of U.S. goods. So, let's see what goods are most affected. In the aftermath of aggressive U.S. tariffs, Canada wasted no time in countering what it viewed as an unfair economic attack. Canadian policymakers swiftly responded by imposing a 25% levy on roughly $155 billion worth of American goods. This decisive measure was not only a tactical economic response, but also a demonstration of national resolve. The Canadian government believed that this tariff would protect domestic industries and rebalance a trade relationship that had long been tilted in favor of its southern neighbor. Such a move highlighted Canada's commitment to preserving its economic sovereignty and served as a warning to other nations that unilateral trade measures would not go unchallenged. At the same time, grassroots movements emerged across the nation, urging Canadians to boycott American products and services. A Leader marketing poll revealed that nearly 2/3 of Canadian consumers had consciously started reducing their purchases of U.S. goods, a shift that extended to reconsidering travel plans and altering consumption habits. This spontaneous wave of consumer activism was driven by both economic and patriotic sentiments. Canadians saw their purchasing power as a tool to push back against policies that they felt threatened their national prosperity. Could this surge in consumer activism herald a lasting shift in the way cross-border trade relations are conducted? The economic implications of Canada's countermeasures quickly became apparent. U.S. industries that depended heavily on Canadian patronage began to experience a notable decline in demand. American retailers and manufacturers, accustomed to a steady influx of Canadian customers, now found themselves facing reduced sales and mounting uncertainty. The tourism sector, once a robust link between the two economies, braced for significant revenue losses as fewer Canadians planned trips to the United States. This drop in cross-border spending underscored the deep interdependence between the nations and revealed how a single policy decision could ripple across various sectors of the economy. The economic impact of tariffs in the United States became increasingly clear as businesses, consumers, and entire industries struggled with rising costs. Companies that relied on imported materials found themselves paying significantly more, and those expenses were inevitably passed down to consumers. Retailers like Target and Walmart sounded the alarm, warning that higher prices would soon affect essential goods, from household items to electronics. Small businesses, which often operate on tight margins, were particularly vulnerable. Many lacked the financial cushion to absorb the increased costs, forcing them to either raise prices or cut jobs to stay afloat. At the heart of this economic shift was the agricultural sector, which bore the brunt of retaliatory tariffs imposed by trading partners like China. American farmers, long dependent on exporting crops such as soybeans and pork, faced dwindling demand as China sought alternative suppliers. The sudden drop in sales left many farmers grappling with financial insecurity, pushing some to the brink of bankruptcy. Government aid packages attempted to soften the blow, but these subsidies could not fully replace the steady income that farmers had lost due to disrupted trade relationships. The longer the tariffs remained in place, the harder it became for American agriculture to maintain its competitive edge in global markets. Trump's tariffs may have backfired, putting the U.S. on the losing side while China strengthens its grip on global trade. But this war is far from over. As tensions escalate, the real question is, can the U.S. fight back, or has China already secured economic dominance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates.